My dear friends, I'm really sorry for all the mishaps today. The Wi-Fi in my office has been giving me a little trouble, so I'm moving around to see what is the best place from where to do this podcast. So thank you for your patience. I'm back here, and today's question from Karina Vasquez has to do with money and happiness. So here I am back again to remind you that you can send your questions to me at the following email: info@jayo.com, info@jayo.com. So please send your questions to info@jayo.com, and I will do my best to answer them in the order that they are received, those questions. Most of the questions have been coming from readers of You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. And I thank you for your support of this book. But the questions that you ask can be on anything if you feel it's important to you, and I will do my best to answer them one every day. And yes, the email is info@jayo.com. Okay, today's question is from Karina Vasquez. She says, I've seen in my life and others there's a kind of struggle with the day-to-day issues and the spiritual issues, such as such as looking for a good job, visualizing it, dreaming of it, being active, learning to be positive, letting energy flow and guide me. And it really helps a lot, but it seems that it could be something external that doesn't fit the basic needs, such as needing a certain amount of money to keep ourselves in this world. It's not right to be struggling with money to survive, even when reviewing and changing life patterns. Thanks a lot, Karina Vasquez. So Karina, that's a good question, and let's go right to it. Okay, first of all, what is money? Money is a human construct like everything else, but money is actually very reflective of our innermost values. So the way you earn money, the means by which you earn money, reflects your innermost values, and the way you spend money also reflects your innermost values. Today, there are approximately $2.2 trillion that are spent in the world's markets. Only less than 2% of that money actually provides meaningful services and goods. Only 2% of the $2.2 trillion that circulates in the world's markets provides meaningful services and goods. There are lots of goods and services that are harmful that are also part of this 2%. So, things like drugs, things like weapons, and all of that certainly doesn't improve the quality of our life, but it's part of international trade. The weapons industry, for example, it is a huge part of international trade, as are drugs, both illicit and legal and illegal, opioids, as is tobacco, as is alcohol, and on and on. So where does the remaining 98% of the money that's in the world markets coming from? And this is coming from what today's bankers call derivatives. So it's the money that is leveraged of debt. It's gambling money. it's money that leverages itself on abstract ideas like the stock market, which reflects the mood of the world. And then, there's money to create money, to create money, to create money. And so if you are one of those 2% of people that is providing meaningful services and goods to the world, either in your job or your career or as your calling, then you will be making a lot of money too, and you'll be making it through what is called right livelihood. So, which is not to say that derivatives and putting money in the stock market is bad. In fact, I'm on the board of an organization called Just Capital. You can go online and find it, Just Capital. And this organization identifies corporations and businesses in the world that are making a meaningful difference. And I would suggest that if you have spare money, that's the kind of business you should support, so we can help create a better world. But Karina's question is also, what role does money play in the quality of our life? And so what I would like to say is that as I've kind of looked at people throughout my life, I found that there are two kinds of people that are usually unhappy when it comes to deriving satisfaction from money. One is the extremely poor, and the other is the extremely rich. So the extremely poor and the extremely rich share one thing in common, and that is that they think about money all the time. In other words, money is a source of stress and anxiety to them. So it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. If you have too much money, but you're always thinking about it, worrying about it, then it's not contributing to your happiness. Similarly, if you're very poor and you can't make ends meet, then you will also be unhappy. So when it comes to happiness, and social scientists, they've done a lot of work on this. They have come up with something called the happiness formula. And the happiness formula is as follows. H is equal to S plus C plus V. So H stands for happiness. S stands for set point in the brain, which is your general attitude to life. And that set point determines about 50% of your experience of happiness every day. It has nothing to do with money. So 50% of your happiness comes from your set point. And set point is your attitude. Do you look at the world as an opportunity to contribute, to have meaning and purpose in your life, to make a difference? Do you look at the world as an opportunity? If you do, then your set point for happiness is very good. You'll be happy. On the other hand, if you look at the world as a problem, and that's your attitude, then you're going to be unhappy. And if you're always if you're always looking for opportunities to complain, condemn, criticize, play the victim, then you're obviously an unhappy person. Now, this set point is determined by our experiences during our childhood through a mechanism called mirror neurons. So if your parents were always complaining, or your caretakers were always complaining, condemning, criticizing, playing the victim, then you're likely to be an unhappy person as well, because you grew up with that. And your neurons in your childhood were mirroring the neurons of your caretakers. The set point can be changed though through reflective self-inquiry. It can be changed through what is called cognitive therapy. It can be changed by actually questioning your attitude every time you're going to complain, condemn, criticize, play the victim, to observe that and to put the pause button and observe your reaction to react. Very slowly you will change your set point. So anything that helps you practice meditation, mindfulness, reflective self-inquiry, cognitive therapy, observing yourself to react, putting the pause button, and then changing your reaction will begin to change your set point. So H is equal to S. That's 50% of your daily happiness experience. The second part of the formula is C plus C, which contributes about 10 to 12% of your daily happiness experience, and that daily happiness experience is your overall happiness every day. Okay, your overall happiness every day. So that is C. C, conditions of living, adds about 10 to 12% of your daily happiness experience. And that's where money comes in. So money contributes about 10 to 12% of your daily happiness experience. If you win the lottery and you win lots of money, you'll be very happy in the beginning. In fact, you might be ecstatic if you won, say, $20 million. You'd be ecstatic, but in a few weeks your happiness will plateau. In 6 months it'll definitely plateau, and in 1 year you'll return to your set point. So that's the contribution of money. If you're very poor, you'll be unhappy. If you're very rich, it doesn't guarantee happiness. Nicole Clark, 23 others shared this video. Thank you very much. Okay, so 10 to 12%. So that leaves 40% left. That's V. V is voluntary choices. These are choices that we make every day. Somebody, Goddess, said it's not about happiness, it's about security. Well, let me tell you that the search for security is the biggest cause of insecurity. And I'll come to that also later. So the third part of the formula is V, voluntary choices. V, not B. H is equal to S plus C plus V, voluntary choices. There are two kinds of voluntary choices we make every day. One is for personal pleasure, and the other choice that we make every day is for what we call fulfillment. So personal pleasure choices include things like shopping, sex, drugs, alcohol, entertainment, anything that gives you personal pleasure. And in the beginning, personal choices make you happy if they give you pleasure, but after a while they stop doing so. So the happiness that comes from personal pleasure is transient, and ultimately what happens for those who seek only happiness through personal pleasure, they have a tendency to fall into addiction or addictive patterns, which means that they can't get enough of what they don't want anymore, but they are just addicted to the whole process. So what are major addictions are those to sensations, whether it's drugs or sex or alcohol or anything that gives you a sensory experience. But there are also addictions to power and melodrama and to cynicism and to security. In fact, as I said a little bit before, the addiction to security or the search for security could be the biggest cause of insecurity. So then what are the choices that make you really happy? Those are those choices that give you contentment. And contentment comes when you have meaning and purpose in your life, and when you make a contribution to the world, when you have passion for what you do, and when you express your security, yes, when you express your creativity, not security. I just saw another comment on security from Goddess, so got distracted. But when you express your curiosity, that also gives you fulfillment and therefore happiness. But the fastest way to be happy is actually very simple, and that is make somebody else happy. The fastest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy, and that you do, as I've said before, through the 4 A's: attention, affection, appreciation, acceptance. Attention is deep listening, affection is deep caring, appreciation is noticing the good qualities of another and acknowledging them, and acceptance is not trying to change anyone. So you can see money is important, but it's a 10 to 12% as an overall factor in your well-being, in your satisfaction of life, in your fulfillment, in your happiness. Now I still have to answer the question, Karina's, what's the best way then to not only generate wealth or money, and what's the best way to spend it? And I will come to that in 15 seconds. Talking about money, this program is possible because some people are sponsoring it, and Facebook would like you to watch this 15-second advertisement. So here we are back. What's the best way to make money? The best way to make money is ask yourself, how would I express my unique skills and talents? How would I express my passion if I had all the money and all the time in the world? That is what is called being in dharma. When your passion, your purpose, your job, which is what you do every day, your career, what you do over a lifetime, and your higher calling, which means how you want to make a difference in the world, when they come together, then you have what is called abundance consciousness. And that is the best way to make money. Take a little time to reflect. If I had all the money in the world, if I had all the time in the world, what would be my passion and purpose, and how would it make a difference in the world? As I said earlier, if your job, if your career, which is long term, if your higher calling all come together, you have abundance consciousness. And abundance consciousness also comes when you're grateful for what you already have, even if you're struggling. There's so many things to be grateful for. So gratitude also opens the door to abundance consciousness. That's the best way to create money, through abundance consciousness, not through poverty consciousness. Now, there was one thing more I wanted to say: how to spend the money. And people have also done research on this, and what they find is that if you spend money only on things, it maybe give you some degree of happiness or satisfaction, but after a while you get bored with things. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a new phone or a new computer, a new automobile, or even a jet plane, but in the end you'll get bored of it. So it's better to spend money on experiences with other people. So when you spend money with family and friends or for family and friends for an experience like going to for a vacation, going for a retreat, taking a course, then you have three things happening. Number one, you're doing it with other people, so that gives you enjoyment. Number two, you look forward to the experience, and that gives you enjoyment. Number three, if you made the right choice, then you enjoy the experience. That gives you enjoyment. And finally, when you look back and you have happy memories, that gives you enjoyment. So spend money on other people, spend money on experiences. Now, since security was brought up, make sure that you have the right amount of insurance, that you save 10% of your money that you earn, put it away, so that there's always a build-up of that, and that you have enough money if things go wrong. Okay, so savings is very important, and insurance is important in today's society. And then don't obsess over money. Don't let money become a source of stress for you. Okay, so I think if we then summarize all this, don't think of money directly. Think of abundance consciousness. Think of how the way you earn money reflects your values, and think of how you spend money reflects your values. So those values are the answers to the following questions. What are my unique strengths and talents? How do I use them? Who benefits? What is the purpose of my life? What contribution do I want to make to friends, family, society, the world? What are the peak experiences I've had in my past, the most joyful experiences, because that's what I want to have again? Who are my heroes and heroines in history, mythology, and religion, and how can I emulate them? What are the qualities I look for in a good friendship? What do I get? What do I contribute? And why is relationship the most important thing in my life? If you can answer those questions with one or two words or sentences, you have created what is called your soul profile. And then the way you earn money and spend money should reflect your soul profile. Okay, so that's basically it. I hope that is good enough, Karina, for today. Thank you very much. I want to remind you that I'm very grateful for your support of the book. You are the universe discovering your cosmic self, why it matters. My next book is with Rudy Tanzi, and it's called The Healing Self, after which there's another book called Meta Human, a concise guide to enlightenment. So I have a lot to look forward to, and that makes me happy. I hope you have a lot to look forward to that makes you happy as well. Okay, since I'm in my office, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a tour. So right now I'm at my desk. Behind me is my bookshelf with pictures of happy memories, and here we are. And then this is one of the walls in my office. If you see over there is a picture with my guru Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. If you see here, there's a picture of me as a monk in Thailand going begging on the streets for my one meal a day. There are other pictures here that I want to show you. And so here's a picture with Mrs. Obama when she was the First Lady, with Bill Clinton in the Oval Office, with Obama in the White House, with Michael Jackson practicing the siddhi called levitation, and on and on. So I thought you'd enjoy seeing a little bit of my office. And there's a painting with Oprah Winfrey, and so that's a little tour of my office. That's a view of the outside through my window, and what else? Another bookshelf. As you can see, I'm very fond of books, and so there are hundreds of books here, actually more than a few thousand, and I'm happy to be back. This week we are